Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs from all over the world, please make welcome the truth guy, Mr. Home-Based Business himself. The man of the hour, everyone's favorite, Kerry Miller.
And good afternoon, man. I got my little sweetie here with me today. She's not feeling too good, so she wanted to sit up here with Dad while he was recording, and I think she got the belly acres. I probably feeding her way too much stuff. Her belly a little swollen today. We had some ribs yesterday and some potatoes, and this morning she just had to have a little bit of burrito. So what the heck, But I try not to give her too much human food. But every now and then I'll give her like a rib bone or something. I think maybe I gave her just a little bit too much meat on that rib bone, so she knows I'm talking about her. And but she's not feeling too good, so she wanted to get up here in my arms, and you can look at her sweet little face there and know that old Tilly Mill's not just doing too well today. So, but I'm going to hold her as long as she wants to be held. She hates me on this thing when I'm talking. You can tell it's her nap time. Actually, she takes a nap about 1 o'clock, and I was out in the field, and so things happen. But here we are, and I want to welcome you to The Truth Guy. And, this podcast is starting to really catch on. Getting a lot of traction on Twitter. I've never used Twitter, starting to get a lot of traction on Twitter, and really excited about that. Not so much on LinkedIn. Don't understand LinkedIn. Ain't never used it. I used it when it first came out. And then LinkedIn started making a lot of changes and doing a lot of things, kind of like all these platforms do. And so LinkedIn started making a lot of changes, and I just quit really using it. It's just not for me. And I'm sure a lot of people use it and make a lot of money on it and do a lot of things. And until you're making me look bad on camera there, you make it look like I hadn't let you sleep in about 6 weeks. But so anyway, I'm going to put her down. I've got her a bed right here beside me, so I didn't just throw her on the floor. She's laying on her bed. But I use a lot of Facebook, obviously. I do a lot of lives on Facebook. And then what I do is I break this down and I take the audio out of it and put it up on the podcast platform. And we broadcast on iHeart. We broadcast on Podbean. And we broadcast on iTunes. So you can catch us in those places, and you can go to kerrymiller.tv and be able to reach out to the broadcast. But it's really exciting. I love doing this, and I love helping people. The great thing about being able to come live is helping people, and today we're going to talk about the decision process. And I know that making decisions is a hard thing. The toughest thing in the world. I want you to think about this just a moment. It's 9:30. You have to get up at 5. But you're watching the best movie in the world, and you've waited on it to come on for a month. And it doesn't go off till 10:30. You've got to make a decision. You got to make a decision right then. Gosh, man, I got to get up. I'm going to be tired. I got to drive 2 hours. That's a decision process. And what do? You decide, what? I'm going to watch the movie. I've been waiting weeks for this. I'm going to watch this show, even though it goes off at 10:30, so I won't get in bed until 11. I won't fall in bed till 11:30, so I'll get 6 hours sleep. And you start going through all that, and you're like, man, here I am. I wake up, my eyeballs are hanging out to the floor. I can't see, and life is tough, and where am I going? You made an active decision that created everything for tomorrow. You're tired, you're worn down, you don't know what to do. You have to do the same thing when talking about a home-based business. And when you're talking about a home-based business, there's a whole bunch of things you have to look at. Sometimes we make hasty decisions and it costs us. Sometimes we don't make a decision at all, and guess what happens? It costs us. And so the decision-making process on every single thing we do in life is extremely important, and we have to make sure we have all the information before us to make sure that we are going to get to where we want to go. Now, a lot of people say, well, Kerry, what is your process? Well, what is your process of making the decision? The first thing I look at for a home-based business is, will it make me money, and how much do I need to put out in order to make money? Is the return on investment worth the return of the investment? So that's the first thing I look at. What's the cost? What's the cost in time? We go into a home-based business for one reason, right? We go into a home-based business because we want to spend more time with our loved ones. We want to spend more time at the lake. We want to spend more time traveling. We want to spend more time and do the things that we want to do to enjoy our life. And so that's one of the first things I look at, is the investment and the return on investment, where I need to be in order to make money. The next thing I look at, can it make me 6 figures and above? Now, some people aren't looking to make 6 figures, but let me say this. Never set your ceiling too low. I have a good friend, I think I mentioned this on a podcast the other day. I tell people all the time, I'll show you how to make $1 million if you want me to. If that's what you're wanting to do, I will show you how to make $1 million. And when I show you how to do that, if you'll follow those steps, you'll make $1 million. It's just the way it is. But he asked the question, well, do you think that scares people? Well, if it does, it does. But you know what? You've got to make $100,000 on the way to the million. You've got to make $250,000 on the way to $1 million. You got to make $500,000 on the way to the million. So as you go through those steps and you get to the place where you want to go, that's the decisions you have to make. Do I want to go further? How much harder do I want to work? Now, let me make this extremely clear during this podcast. If you have a home-based business and you want to make money, you got to work. Working for yourself in the beginning can be harder, longer hours than anything you've ever done. It's not waking up in the morning at 5:30 because you made a bad decision to go to bed at 11 and getting to where you're going to go, and then get back home and you say, whew, the day's over. It's done. Now I can go to bed. I can do what I want to do. I got 2 hours to spend with the kids. I've got 2 hours to spend with the wife. I'm going to eat dinner for 45 minutes of that. So really you got 1 hour and 15 minutes to try to fit everything in there, and you made a bad decision because you come home tired. If you'd have went to bed at 9:30, you made a good decision, and you'd have got up, you'd have been well rested, then you could have come home and you said, hey, I'm fresh. You see, starting a business is the same thing. It's hard work. We talked yesterday about desires, and we talked about decision, and we're going to talk about desires and commitment over the next couple of days. And decision is actually the last process, but I'm starting with the last process first. Then we're going to go to desire and commitment, and then we're going to come back to the decision process, because I think that this is the point that you need to understand the most. I think making a decision in the process is something you need to understand most. And when I mentioned, okay, I want to do this business, and I think the return on investment is going to be more than the investment, then you have to look at the little things. Training. If I've had one person, I've had 1,000 people say, Kerry, why don't you put this in a course and sell it? Because I believe that if you are trying to truly help people and help people succeed, when you do that and you teach them and you lead them and you mentor them, that it's going to come back tenfold anyway. So why should I put my podcast into a training session that you've got to pay for when I believe that I should give it to you for free? That's just me. I don't need to make money off of a podcast. I mean, it's going to come back to me. I promise you. The more people you help along the way, the greater your rewards financially in the future. It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow, but it's going to come. And you have to look at that home-based business the same way. Every time I go to training, do I have to pay for it? What's the cost of that? I think a true business, a true home-based business that charges for training is the worst thing you can ever do, because all they're doing is sucking cash from you. You've got to buy this tape session. You've got to buy this video session. You've got to buy the training that you already paid for a hotel room, and you paid for your travel to get there, and then you got to pay, another $100 for the dinner, and you got to do all that. And then they say, oh, well, if you want this training, you can get it online, and it's $99. What the heck is that? This is a process where you have to say, no, that's not going to happen. I'm building a business, and I am moving your products, and you want me to pay to learn how to do that? I mean, that's absolutely crazy. That's the most insane thing I think any company can do. I don't believe in it. I have never charged for training. I've taught thousands of people around the world over the last several years. Thousands and thousands of people around the world. I've never once charged for training. Now, I had a training course, okay, on how to do something. It wasn't something I was teaching on a product I was selling. It was a training course on how to build apps, okay. Back in the very beginning, it was called Mobile Marketing Magician. I sold a lot of courses, sold a ton of courses. Why? Because that wasn't something I sat on and did every single day. It was a one-time thing. Built the course, sold the course, still sell the course today. Okay? But it has nothing to do with that person moving a product that I have put together. It has everything to do with them taking that course and making everything happen for themselves. It's a huge difference, What outcome are you looking for? You have to ask yourself, okay, I'm going to start this home-based business. It's going to cost me XYZ a month. What is the outcome of that investment do I want? Do you want more time? Do you want to be able to do things that you want? Do you want to be able to travel? Do you want to make X amount of money? Okay, you set your first goal at, okay, I want to walk away from my job in 3 years. I want to walk away from my job in 2 years. I want to walk away from my job in 6 months. Will this home-based business get me there? Is this something that if I really busted my butt, could I walk away from my job in 6 weeks and say, hey, I'm done? I've created a large enough revenue base to where I don't have to go to that stinking office one more time. I don't have to even understand what a job means. I'm self-sufficient. I am self-reliant on myself and on everything I do. I create the revenue that I want to create, and I can walk away from my job. So you have to ask yourself, what are you looking for? What is it that you're looking to do? What are you expecting from the business that you're starting? And that's the decision you have to make. You have to say, okay, this is what I want. I know what the process is, so I'm going to start breaking it down. Does the outgo, okay, justify the revenue coming in? Because if it zeroes each other out, and this just burns my butt cheeks, you get people that start a home-based business, and they have all these desires and these dreams, and they're committed to doing what they're doing. And they work hard. They just pound it and pound it and pound it. And they work so hard. And this is what happens. Because everything over here is so expensive, their income and their outgo zero everything out. Doesn't make sense to me. You can't do that. You have to be able to make money, so your income has to surpass what you're putting out. So if you build Facebook pages, and you have to pay somebody to build Facebook pages, and I did a little Facebook page course not too long ago, and a free training online, and I think I'll do that again, because I want to teach people exactly what I do to build my business. Okay, if you're posting, and this is a totally different training, but if you're posting and most of you are wasting your time on Facebook. You get 2 people to like your post on your personal page, and you think, man, why am I not making money? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to teach you why you're not making any money. But what outcome are you looking for? How are you looking to build your business? How are you looking to share the information with others? Because a home-based business, you have to move a product and or you have to move a process for making money. Now, one of the big things I look for is if I'm not making X, Y, Z, if I'm not making 6 figures in this business after a certain period of time, I'm out. I'm out. And that's just me. Maybe yours is $10,000. Okay, when I say 6 figures, I'm talking 6 figures a year. So what is that? About $10,000 a month, give or take. So maybe yours is $5,000 a month. Maybe yours is $3,000 a month. But you've got to put it in place. And if you've been doing what you're doing for more than a year and you're not making 6 figures, you're in the wrong business. You're totally in the wrong business. You're going to say, yeah, this is where the truth guy comes out. Okay, some of you are going to say, screw you, Kerry. I've been doing this forever. I'm making $7,000 a year. I'm not going to give that up. I didn't say give it up. I said you're in the wrong business. You've got your focus on something that's not going to allow you to get to your desires and your dreams. All you're doing is working for free. I mean, think about it. $7,000 a year, that's less than $1,000 a month. I can do that picking up cans on the side of the road on a Saturday. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, either you're in business to make money, you've made a decision to get into business to make money, you're looking for an income to replace the current income you have, you're actually looking to start a home-based business, and or you're a hobbyist. There's nothing wrong with having a hobby. I used to make wooden stuff that went on the walls. A friend of mine made this right here. If you'll notice, I'm in a totally different place of the studio today. I told the guys, I said, nope, we're just going to do that. This is just going to be simple because I wanted to show this plaque during training today. My friends made this plaque for me. It was a gift. I went to Missouri about a year and a few months ago, and they gave this to me as a gift. And I read it, and I love it, and it means the world to me. Okay? But what I want to make sure I do is bring you the truth. And if you don't like the truth, then you're going to fail anyway. Because you're lying to yourself. You're kidding yourself that you're going to be successful. Because you've been doing it for a year and you're still not successful. Whether you believe it or not, we used to say, man, when we went fishing, you just have to cut bait and go home. Cut bait and go home. They ain't no catching nothing. Cut bait and go home. What means more to you? Okay, when you're looking at starting a home-based business and you're making that decision and you're looking at the things that you've got to do, what means more to you? Family time? Office time. If you spend more time at the office away from your family, you don't have family time. Maybe it means a lot to you to be able to take your family on a special vacation. Maybe it means a lot to you to take, your family overseas. Maybe it means a lot to you just to be able to go watch your kids play ball. What does it mean to you? Maybe it means more to you to be able to go see your mom or dad or somebody special, that's 2,000 miles away. And you can't do that if you have the old JOB, because you just can't call up American Airlines and say, hey, I want a ticket. I'm leaving out today. I've picked myself up, put my computer in a bag with my cameras and my lights, and I've taken off to Florida many, many, many times. Last year, spent 3 months in Boulder, Colorado. Went up there for 3 days and wound up going up there for 3 months. You can't do that if you have a JOB. You can do that if you have a home-based business, because what? Wherever you are at, that's your home at the moment. May not be your house in the Hamptons, okay, but that's your home at the moment. So what means more to you? Working a job where someone controls every single thing you do, where someone controls your time, the amount of money you make, that's something else that bothers me. Nobody's going to control how much money I make. I'm going to control how much money I make. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want somebody constantly controlling you, controlling when you can go on vacation, controlling when you can spend time with your family, controlling everything you do? What means more to you? And that's part of your decision making process. And once you make that decision, you say, hey, my family's important. Going to those ball games are important. Taking my family on vacations is important. Flying across the country to see my friends is important. Picking my kids up on a Friday from school and flying down to Florida so they can hang out on the beach is important. What's important to you? I know a lot of people that have a job, so I'm not knocking jobs. I had one for years, and when I walked away from it, I said I would never, ever do it again. When I started working for myself and the entrepreneurial juices kicked in, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of making somebody else $1 million. I'm going to make $1 million for myself. That's when I said nobody's going to control my time again. I'll give you a prime example. If I wanted to be on the road right now this is live, okay, we're talking live, but if I wanted to be on the road right now, at this very moment, going somewhere, I could have recorded this and set it up to where it popped up at 3 o'clock, just like I'm sitting here live right now. You know, who controls my time? I do. I control everything I do. And the third thing here that we're going to talk about today, who are you doing it for? When you start a home-based business, when you start creating residual income, when you start creating that base of income to make a change in your life, to change things and make things happen in your life, and you look in the mirror, ask yourself this question: who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for my little boy or little girl that's laying in there asleep? I was able to walk in and kiss them goodnight, tell them that I love them because I wasn't driving down the road from a job that I'd been at all day and I missed their time to go to bed. Or maybe the wife who hasn't been out in 6 months. You know, and it's Friday night. You paid a babysitter to take the kids to the movies and go out for pizza, and you was able to pay for all that. And you gave the babysitter a handful of cash. Said, listen, y'all go have a good time. I'm taking my spouse out tonight. Who are you doing it for? You know, you do it for those who mean the most to you. I made a post, and I'll share this with you. It was on Facebook stories or whatever you call that. I like posting on there because it kind of I'm able to share how I feel. And it says, I didn't ask to be wealthy. It just came from helping others. That's who I do it for. I do it for others. You know, I love helping people. You do it for your family. I love being able to do things for my family. I love being able to go take my mom out to dinner or out to lunch. Just get up and call her and say, hey, I'm coming over for lunch. You know, COVID's kind of changed that a little bit, you know, but I mean, it's just very special. And why are you doing it? You know, some people would say, well, who are you doing it for and why are you doing it? It's the same thing. No. Why are you doing it? What is your why? What is the true reason you do the things that you do? Now, the what and the why could be the same, but the why comes from here. The true why of why you do what you do and how you do what you do and the reason you do what you do comes from your heart. Why do you do it? Because there's nothing like the smile on a child's face when you do something special with them. There's nothing like the feeling of going out on date night and surprising that person you love in an extremely special way. There's nothing like being able to take off the weekend and go somewhere that you've always wanted to go, but everything else kept you down. You see, the decision-making process is extremely important. And you have to make that decision, because without the decision, your desire, and that's why I started with the decision first. And we're going to hit desire tomorrow, and we're going to hit commitment the next day. But the decision process, without the decision process, there is no desire. There is no commitment, because you have nothing to make a decision about. You have to understand the decision-making process in order to take you to where you want to go, in order to elevate yourself, in order to break through the glass ceiling and place yourself above and beyond everyone else around you. And when you do that, you help elevate them to the place that you're at. See, part of the decision-making process is being a leader. Learn to lead so that you can bring others with you so that they can make that decision to take them to the place most people only dream of. Hey, I want to thank everybody for coming out, man. You know, it means the world to me that you come out and be with me right here at The Truth Guy. I want you to re-listen to these podcasts. I want you to be able to hear the things I say. But most importantly, sometimes when you're watching it live, you're like, gosh, man, I wish I could ride that back. That's the reason I do it on Facebook, and that's the reason I also will break this down and put it on our podcast channel. I'm here for one reason: to help you succeed, to help give you direction in the decisions you need to make, and most importantly, to help you achieve your why. I'm going to close out with something a little bit different today. You're going to see me playing drums right here on the Kerry Miller Truth Guy podcast. That's right, I'm a drummer and I love to play. We've been shut down again right here in the state of Texas. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. Everybody have a great day, good night, or good evening, or whatever time of day it is. I'll see you on the next Truth Guy.